All right. Man United 2, Everton 2. The game that went ahead to summarize what we call the Premier League series that really happened in the US. 4 teams were really involved: Man United, Everton, Bournemouth, and a side known as Everton. And Man United managed to obviously beat 2 of those teams, and they've managed to obviously pull out 1 draw into the mix. Smash the like button, comment, and share. If at all you're watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. Rock and David is my name, and hope you guys are really having fun wherever you are. And let's obviously go ahead to break down this particular beautiful game of football. And after this game ended 2-2, United were really declared champions. United were really declared champions of the Premier League series, right? And I tell you what, you have all the right to call United champions of the preseason in the US, and they've gone ahead to obviously do the needful. And Bruno Fernandes has been really one of those that really went ahead to really shine into this beautiful encounter, into this beautiful Premier League series that United went ahead to obviously win. And in this particular game, Man United went ahead to score the first goal through a penalty when Amadi Diallo was really brought down. And for me, I thought that it was really a soft penalty that was really given to the side of Man United. And I don't think that on any other day, I don't think that on any other day that penalty really stands, right? I don't think that the penalty really stands, but it was really given, and Bruno Fernandes stepped up to the occasion and went ahead to obviously put that ball in the back of the net to make it 1-0 for the club of Man United into the mix. And everyone was really excited because you like to see your team into that winning momentum. That is it. You'd love to see your team winning like that. So this is the moment where Man United went ahead to obviously find themselves in a position of really getting a penalty. You understand? Where is it? I have the photo in here. All right. That's the moment that Man United found themselves getting what we call a penalty. But to me, it was a soft one. And that's why everyone is asking, do you think United really deserve to really get his penalty? And the answer has been, for me, it's a very big no. I don't really think that this was a penalty, though it really went into our favor, but I don't really see it as a penalty for me. But you might be there having your different thoughts altogether, but for me, it wasn't a penalty. I don't know what your thoughts are about this, but for my case, it wasn't really a penalty. I don't know what you guys think about it, but to me, it wasn't a penalty. Not a penalty at all. I want to let you know that I never saw it coming as a penalty, though the claim was there, but it was really soft. So United fans are like, Rokani, it was really a penalty, and you cannot obviously come up and obviously dispute it. But guys, I don't think it was really a penalty. That is it. I don't really think it was really one that we can be proud of. So that's how everything really went down. 19th minute. Then in the 40th minute, Limani Ndiaye went ahead to obviously score in the 40th minute. 21 minutes later, United went ahead to concede what we call another goal. The equalizer, and that was really badly off for Manchester United. And we went to half time, and it ended 1-1. Then let me see whether I can really show you how we went ahead to obviously concede that first goal for the club of Manchester United into the mix, as in here I went ahead obviously bury it into the back of the net. But it was a far post. It was a far post cross that Bruno Fernandes couldn't obviously track very well, and the guy went ahead to tap it at the back of the net, and it really meant that Man United was really level with the side of Everton. We want to have time when it was 1-1, and when we returned in the 69th minute, those are like 24 minutes into the second half. Sorry about that. Mason Mount went ahead to obviously capitalize onto that pass from Bruno Fernandes and made it 2-1 for the club of Man United. Kudos to Bruno Fernandes, but what made that pass of Bruno Fernandes sublime was all about the execution of Mason Mount. Mason Mount came up and really went ahead to make a very huge execution into the back of the net and curled that ball past the goalkeeper to the far left post. And the goalkeeper, Pickford, couldn't obviously do the needful. You understand? So, 69th minute, United went level. Bruno Fernandes getting a goal and an assist in 69 minutes of the game. you know, Aiden Heaven went ahead to obviously score an own goal as United really conceded. Aiden Heaven put the ball in his own net, and that resulted into the club of Man United really conceding a second goal. And ever since then, United never went ahead, obviously putting a very beautiful shift altogether into the mix. And 2-2 has been the full result of this encounter, and Man United couldn't obviously find themselves in a position of really getting to where they deserve to be into the mix. Now, Manchester United really had, I think, an on and off game. The build-up sometimes really looked elite, but it obviously fell off on several occasions when United really went ahead to put in a very big shift in there for you. And Patrick Dogu will be looked at as one of the selfish players into this encounter, as instead of going in for a square to a player known as Rasmus Højlund, he decided to go in for a shot at goal, something that saw a player known as Rasmus Højlund fuming, because the best that he would have gone ahead to do would have gone ahead to really put that ball into the vicinity of Rasmus Højlund. You understand? But Man United went ahead to obviously not really move that level, and Patrick Dogu really, for me, he was really selfish. And in such a moment, if you find yourself in a position of really putting that ball at the back of the net, everyone won't really blame you. But the moment that ball doesn't cross the line, everyone will be at you and be like, you are really selfish. He'll be like, you are selfish, and you would have gone ahead to be doing better as a player in that vicinity. So you understand, and a lot is really happening in there for you. So Manchester United had Bryan Mbeumo do his debut, and I don't have a lot to say about him. I think he was played as a centre forward. That's not his best position, and I think the manager just wanted to see him and Cunha, Bruno Fernandes onto the pitch, because he wants all those three to feature predominantly into his season that is starting on the 17th of August as United hosts the side of Arsenal. But I want to let you know that I don't think that Mbeumo is going to be played as a centre forward at the club of Man United. No reason playing him as centre forward in there for you when you're really having a Rasmus Højlund in there for you, or a Cunha, because I believe Cunha is a better centre forward than Bryan Mbeumo, and Bryan Mbeumo is a better 10, can really get you more results as a 10 than you playing him in as a number 9. So I think that's where the manager of Manchester United really has to get it right, and obviously put everything to the levels where it really deserves to be. So Mbeumo put in a very beautiful shift for the club of Man United, and guess what? He really had quite a good game, and he was taken off, and another player was brought on that saw Amadi Diallo play into the position of Bryan Mbeumo for the next 45 minutes of the game in there. So the other highlights, Matthias de Ligt obviously looked great, and Man United really looked one of the teams that you have to obviously look like they're really missing a 6. And I've already told you that Manuel Ugarte is a very good player, but we need a CDM. That is it. We need a CDM who is obviously going to come in through and really play alongside Kobe Mainoo. And maybe even for Manuel Ugarte, to get the best out of him, he should be played as a CDM. Sorry, he should be played as a box-to-box midfielder, and we should be getting in a CDM because that midfield looked porous. And Manuel Ugarte gave away very many balls. And I think when Casemiro came in through, he tried to obviously control the game a little bit and reduce the pace. But you also note that Casemiro has fallen off by a country mile. You cannot obviously rely on him in such and such moments of the important season when United wants to get back to the Champions League. You understand? So, I think when you see United going in for Benjamin Sesko, I will feel sorry for my club because I think CDM should obviously come in first than the player we are trying to obviously pursue in there for you. And the stats of the game were as follows. Let's obviously get in here. 13 shots by Man United. Everton had 8. 6 shots by Man United on target. And Everton had 2 shots on target. 61% ball possession by Man United. 39% ball possession by Everton. 470 passes completed by Man United. 287 passes completed by Everton. 81% passing accuracy by Man United, 77% passing accuracy by Everton, 9 fouls by Man United, 13 fouls by Everton, 1 yellow card issued to either sides, no red cards was issued, and 0 offsides to Man United and 3 offsides to Everton, as United had 3 corners and Everton had 6. Now, from there, the club of Man United went ahead to obviously be crowned as champions of what you call the Premier League series. As you see there, United played 3 games, 2 wins, 1 draw, 0 losses, 8 goal difference haze, 8 goals scored, 4 goals conceded, 4 goal difference. 4 goals goal difference and 7 points secured by the club of Man United. West Ham 3 games, 2 wins, 0 draws and 1 loss. 5 goals scored, 3 goals conceded, 2 goals difference and 6 points for West Ham. Bournemouth 3 games played, 1 win, 0 goals, 0 draws, 2 losses. 4 goals scored, 6 goals conceded, negative 2 goal difference, 3 points. Everton secured their only 1 point, 2 losses, 1 draw, and 0 wins in there for you. They scored 3 goals, they conceded 7, goal difference of negative 4 and 1 point. And this really worries Man United. This really worries me as a United fan, that how come a club like Everton that was beaten by West Ham and Bournemouth, we couldn't obviously go ahead and obviously beat it because they had conceded 5 goals before we came into this game of football, and we couldn't obviously force them really get down to a beating of some 2 goals to 0 and couldn't obviously keep a clean sheet. We were really playing against them. Our display was not all that fine, but I think we hope for a better display when you're really playing against Fiorentina, as some players were really benched into that particular encounter. So that is Man United for you, and they had a very good preseason down in the US, but don't get carried away with the preseason. You know, look so much at the game that Man United is going to be playing against the team known as Arsenal. 17th, that's when everything really starts off. You're using this preseason to see to it that United really gets all their players in perfect shape to obviously face off a club known as Arsenal. You understand? But I tell you what, it is not really business as usual. I'm not yet impressed, by the way, not yet at all, and I'm really still worried when you're really going to be facing Arsenal, and it will really cause lots of problems for me. At the Pare Opeyemi, we need a CDM. Ntambi James says, greetings. Thank you, my brother, for watching in. CK Entertainment, we need a CDM. Obviously, we need one because Ugarte can't play the level we want. I think he can get there, but when he's playing as a box-to-box midfielder, then he can do the needful. But I think the manager has the best plan, and I don't know why we haven't went ahead obviously getting one, but I know that United has a CDM onto their list. Emmanuel Niherowo, congratulations. Jimzo is laughing. Joe Aaron says, "Sai, we need a midfielder." Obviously, we need a midfielder badly. And you guys, if you've been watching this channel for some time, I've already told you that all what United needs is a CDM, not a striker. After Brian Buemo and Matthias Cunha, the next player that would have gone ahead to go in for would have gone ahead to be a CDM. But the side of Manchester United is really looking like a striker is really very important. Tambi Jimzo, he has reminded me, Michael Sylvester at Arsenal, he's talking about Aiden Heaven. I know Tambi Jimzo is really trying to do some banter because he's an Arsenal fan, and Aiden Heaven went ahead to obviously leave the club of Arsenal, you understand, and United paid them £1 million, you know. But Aiden Heaven is a very good player, I must tell you, and he's not really gonna stop doing the magic. He's really quite a talent that people have to look at and observe and really give a benefit of doubt to operate at Manchester United. The good thing with Aiden Heaven is there are players that play in his position that will obviously give him guidance. Lisandro Martinez and Luke Shaw, you understand, they'll obviously give him the best guidance that he really deserves as a player to obviously thrive into that position as they've gone ahead to do. So there is no pressure, and no one is going to pile pressure onto him. Like Rasmus Hojlund went ahead obviously fall a victim of a team that had people who needed the number 9 that could obviously secure goals for them, and he saw to it that in the previous season he never really looked as supposed to be looking because of the pressure that was piled onto that youngster. So we are here to wait and see how things are really going to be panning out for the club of Man United, but they are flying back to the US. I know today they are going to be flying back to United Kingdom, and Monday, Tuesday, I think they won't really train, and I think Thursday, Wednesday, I think Wednesday evening, that's when these players will obviously find themselves training again, because Monday it is off, Tuesday they will be off to recharge their batteries and really recover. Then they'll obviously start to train with Manchester United, I think, on Wednesday evening. But all in all, United has gone ahead, obviously, be crowned the champions of the Premier League series. Not really a big factor, but one will come out and say, I remember Aston Villa had to obviously get crowned into the some tournament. I think it was a Premier League. There was a tournament there. I think they had to beat Chelsea, they had to beat Everton, and is it Colorado in there? And they won it, and they went ahead, obviously, coming through and competed. But trust me, that squad of Arsenal was really showing huge progress. Jesus, Zinchenko, Fabio Vieira, those 3 additions to the squad of Arsenal that already had an Odegaard, they had a Bukayo Saka, they had a Saliba, Gabriel Magalhaes, you know. It was all evident that that club could obviously do something different altogether. But right now, there are things that you cannot obviously put your money on, like Man United going ahead to obviously get into the mix of competing for the trophy. And there is a brave United fan, I've forgotten his name. He came in through and obviously doing the first live stream today, and he told us that he thinks Man United will obviously come in through to really win the Premier League. And I was like, oh my God, you are such a brave guy like David, who went ahead and obviously faced Goliath with a stone. You understand? So I think United needs a midfielder. This is Nani. Hello, Aradi. We need a holding midfielder. That is it. I've been sounding that ever since the season came to an end. The summer transfer window started. I think it had turned into my song that I could sing on a daily about these 2 people in there. And you'll all come and really agree with me that it hasn't gone ahead, obviously, go on well at Man United. Not until I think we get in that guy who goes by the names of a CDM. And spending 75 or 80 million euros onto Benjamin Sesko to me is not a solution to the club of Man United. I think the solution is simple. Let's get in a CDM. And at that amount of money, we can get in quite a very good CDM that can obviously help us shield that back four and connect the midfield to the attack, because that's what we need at the club of Man United. Ntambi Jimzo is there. He's watching in through. And for everyone who's been part of this live video, you guys are really amazing. Now, let me show you how Mason Mount, I think, went ahead, obviously, go and really put in a very beautiful strike in there. That is Mason Mount for you, curling that ball, Mason Mount. That was a screamer, and he went ahead to beat the goalkeeper. And by the way, talking about Mason Mount a little bit, I think the only thing that has gone ahead, obviously, affect him has been the injuries. But I think if he can keep himself fit, he can be one of those important players that can be part of this squad that can take us far, if you really know his capabilities and what he can do as a player. Now, if you see what he went ahead to do in this game when he was brought on, I really give him a 5-finger salute. First, with that goal that you see there. Secondly, that chance that saw Rasmus Højlund really furious, all fuming at Patrick Dogu. It is Mason Mount who went ahead, obviously, find that line-breaking pass through the left inside tunnel or half space to Patrick Dogu, and it went into the back of the net. You understand? So that's exactly how things, and he went ahead, obviously, go selfish and never really square the ball to Rasmus Højlund. So Mason Mount is a very good player, and I think he can obviously do lots of things right into the next games that you're obviously going to be doing in there. After that, I think we have some photos in here as Man United is being crowned as champions of the... this is Bruno Fernandes, obviously getting hold of the trophy. That is Bruno Fernandes for you. That's the trophy that United went ahead to win tonight in the US. Then these are the players, obviously, holding the trophy as the winners of the Premier League series in the US. But one thing you should really give credit to is that we've gone ahead to face what we call Premier League opposition, But if you are facing Everton right now and you're drawing 2-2, if you face Everton in the Premier League, it will be a different affair altogether. There'll obviously be more intensity. The players will obviously be working tooth and nail. You understand? West Ham, it's going to be a different affair altogether, when it comes to what we call the Premier League. The same applies to a side called Bournemouth. It's really going to be a different affair altogether. But all in all, United have gone ahead to accomplish this preseason, and they are done and dusted. The players are flying back to to Manchester, to obviously get everything done and dusted. And that is it. So I don't know what your thoughts are about this, but I think I've gone ahead to give you the match preview, and more stories will obviously be landing in through here onto the United Matters channel. It has been nice having you in here. For everyone who has been here, thank you. My man of the match, I think it goes to Mason Mount for me, or Bruno Fernandes, one of the two. I think they've gone ahead, obviously, put in a very beautiful display today. But I think Bruno Fernandes walks away with it because he scored the first goal, though it was a penalty. Some people will claim it was a penalty, but we've gone ahead to see people miss penalties, you understand? It looks like you want to paint a picture that whichever penalty that is given to a player, he goes ahead to obviously execute it into the back of the net. Players miss penalties, and if Bruno has gone ahead, obviously coming through and really score that penalty, he really deserves his kudos and he needs his flowers in there as a player. So, Manchester United have gone ahead to obviously do the needful. But my man of the match is none other than Bruno Fernandes. I think Mason Mount looked good, but Bruno Fernandes has been really consistent. And I don't want to see the manager of Man United really tinkering around, In the game of Fiorentina that you're going to be playing at Old Trafford, that is this weekend, I think the manager should do one thing. Let him name his ideal starting 11. If Onana is back, put him in goal. You understand? The back three, obviously, you'll be having Lenny Yoro, Matthias De Ligt, and Luke Shaw. Then right wing back, Amadi Diallo, Hol Dallo. Left wing back, Patrick Dogo. And double pivot, Ugarte, Kobe Mainoo. Now in the number 10 position, the two number 10 positions, Bruno Fernandes, Matheus Cunha, and let a player known as Rasmus Højlund lead the line. And if at all Rasmus Højlund doesn't lead the line for the club of Man United in that game where we're obviously facing off a side known as Fiorentina, then I'll be like, he's out of the plans of the manager. Maybe if Sesko comes in through, Rasmus Højlund will obviously leave the club of Manchester United. Maybe that will be the plan in there. But all in all, it has been nice having you on this channel. We have dissected this very well, and I don't know what you think. I've gone ahead to really miss out onto this. You can remind me about it, and maybe I'll obviously have something to say about it. But all in all, the club of Manchester United is really doing wonders, and the wonders are here in the Premier League series. They've gone ahead to lift the trophy, but it is not convincing. We are not really winning convincingly. And I worry for Ruben Amorim. Though I've gone ahead to see people say we look better, but I really worry for Ruben Amorim. I tell you what, I worry for my manager. That is it. Because we're really having had fixtures. I told you that in the first 8 games, we are playing Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool, and Man City. And if you remember, Erik ten Hag's departure, he was sacked after playing 8 games. You understand? That's when the manager of Man United was sacked. So it won't really leave you any doubts in you if at all this manager really gets sacked in 8 games. Because if in those 8 games we don't really get in some good points, I think the manager might obviously get sacked because these highs are really elite. But I understand that it might be one of those games that will obviously see him really start the club of Ruben Amorim. Went ahead to get very many points from these big teams. Like, I think he beat Man City. He drew with Liverpool. He lost to Arsenal. Did he draw to Chelsea? So that is the manager of Man United, known as Ruben Amorim. So it sends a very perfect message to you that it's not really one of those he's not really one of those managers that you can obviously not give his flowers in such a moment where he needs to obviously put. So he might use those games as a yardstick to obviously get himself into the best position of not getting sacked at the club of Man United, and that is Ruben Amorim for you. But it's really tricky, and I feel for him. I tell you, I feel for my manager, and that is it. I feel for him, and I really understand what he's going in through as a manager. And here onto the United Matters channel, you know what we've always gone ahead to say. Would love to see United not sacking a manager for the next 5 years. I would love to see Ruben Amorim here for some time, and I don't want to see him really get sacked as a manager of Man United. I want him to be here, and he was like, I want to be here